Getaway Day. As always, I am Mason, he is Gautham, and I have the date wrong on the screen. So we are back for another episode of Getaway Day. Our last episode was a little bit of a mid-season review, a precursor to the All-Star Game, which means we should probably talk a little bit about the All-Star Game just briefly before we get moving on. So, Gautham, without talking about the end of the actual game, because I want to talk about that specifically, what was your favorite part of the All-Star festivities?
I think my favorite part of the All-Star festivities was probably Cal Raleigh, Big Dumper, winning the home run derby. That was pretty cool because it's like his dream season is continuing. He's winning the home run derby. He's got the most home runs in games. It's like this guy can do no wrong this year, and home run derby was very impressive for him to do that. Like for 4 rounds of it or whatever, 3 rounds, I guess. Like that was awesome. Great. And then the fact that he also had like the whole family contribution thing going with his dad pitching to him and his 15-year-old brother doing the catching, kind of cheering him on as he went along with it. I mean, that was just amazing, like family moment for the Dumpers.
Yeah, it was awesome. I did feel a little bit bad for Brent Rooker because he kind of got screwed.
Yeah, like, right, by an inch.
There should have been a different way to determine who was going to advance there. I mean, I'm glad that Cal won, but it's arguable that Cal shouldn't have even moved past the first round.
Fair.
So,
yeah, I guess.
Like, it's one of those that I think the best thing for like marketing for baseball happened, which is probably why they made sure Cal went through, is because number 1 seed making it through the first round seems like a pretty good thing. So
versus the guy that like nobody knows about, really, Brent Rooker. I mean, he's not really a household name.
Yeah, but no, it was fun though. I very much enjoyed that. However, I really, really enjoyed the actual game itself, which is something that I don't know that I've been able to say for years. It's usually in the last 14 years, I think the American League has won 11 of the 14. It tends to be not terribly high scoring, at least not for the National League.
Isn't that why? Year, because the pitch is so good that it's like hard to score in All-Star games?
Yeah, a little bit. But this year, the National League came out swinging. They put up a pretty early 6-run lead over a couple innings. And then the American League just kept fighting back. In the bottom of the ninth, top of the ninth, because it was at a National League stadium. In the top of the ninth, the American League tied it. It came down to the final strike for Brendan Donovan, who I really wanted him to hit a home run right there. He kind of got screwed because that was not a fair ball. I think they just wanted it to go to a swing off. So they called it a fair ball, called him out, sent it to a swing off, which is fine. But come on, that's not a fair ball. It was in the batter's box.
I don't have a comment. I don't remember the play, so I don't know.
He corkscrewed it, but it stayed in the batter's box, like in the batter's box. Which is the foul ball.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was also wondering about that, but I didn't care because I was like, let's go. Let's do the swing off thing.
The only reason I cared was because it was Brendan Donovan. Anyone else, it would have been like, whatever, we'll get the swing off. But he was 2 for 2. He could have had a 3 for 3 All-Star game, which would have been awesome. But they called him out on that. That's BS. Whatever. But yeah, so then we went to something that had never happened before, and that is the swing off. So the way it worked, each team selected 3 players prior to the game that would participate in this. I think some players probably turned it down uh, because like Aaron Judge left the stadium as soon as he came out of the game. So he wasn't around to do it. So he wasn't in it. I think Shohei, I don't know if he was still around the stadium or not, but so it ended up being Jonathan Aranda,
Brent Rooker,
Brent Rooker, and
Randy.
Randy Rosarena versus Kyle Stowers, who had just had a 3-homer game in his last like regular season game prior to the All-Star break, Kyle Schwarber, and Pete Alonso. 2 of those 3 guys are exactly who you want in a home run derby style swing off.
And Stowers wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be Gino Suarez, but he got like hit in the hand during the game, so he bailed out of it.
Yeah, which makes sense. And so Stowers had 5 minutes to get ready. And he comes up and he hit 1 home run and almost got the second one.
Rooker
on his
batted
third
first,
pitch.
and he had the 2 there.
Yeah, Rooker had a great showing, hitting 2 home runs, and he had a home run in the actual game. Then Stowers came up and he hit his second pitch out. The third pitch, I think, hit the wall.
No, he popped that one up.
Oh, did he? Maybe it was the first one that was close. But I thought he had one that was close-ish. And then Aranda did not.
Aranda was the final part, though.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Randy hit 1 homer in the second round.
Okay.
So the AL was up 3-1. And then Schwarber batted.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Schwarber put on quite the show. Like, it was kind of funny. They were like doing the interview right before they would bat. They asked him like, "Are you nervous?" And he was just like, "Yeah, I guess so." And then he just went up there and he did some amazing stuff.
I called it too before he went up. Called him doing this, and he hit all 3 pitches to the moon. Nowhere close to the wall. Like, these were prodigious shots.
Yeah.
Hit all 3 to take the 4-3 lead for the National League. The only thing that needed to happen in order to force Pete Alonso to have to walk this thing off was Jonathan Aranda needed to hit 1 home run. And that's a very tough situation to be in. You get 3 swings. Hitting 1 home run on 3 swings is kind of impressive. So not hitting any at all, not the end of the world, but a lot of people were looking at it and it's like, come on, this is an amazing way to end this. Because the game was tied at 6 and it's an all-star game. It doesn't really matter. So we don't want to hurt anybody, and we already hurt Gino. So 3 more swings for 6 more guys, and let's call it a day. Well, Aranda comes up, and Aranda does not have home run power. Aranda has warning track power, and that showed.
Which is weird. That's not what he was like as a prospect. But I agree, that's what's happened this year, where he's like hit for a great batting average, but then he only has 11 home runs this season.
Yeah. So it was one of those that a lot of people were questioning Aaron Boone's decision making. I think every non-Yankees fan now understands the plight of Yankees fans when it comes to Aaron Boone. The tweets that were firing off during the game were hysterical. I loved it. Poor Aaron Boone. I mean, I don't really feel bad for you, but also poor Aaron Boone. Gotta be rough. But, oh well.
But Aranda was the one who had his second ball. It hit off the very top of the wall.
Yeah, it hit off the brick. It was about 2 feet low, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But in that part of the park, it has to clear not only the pad, but also the brick that says Chop House. So, yeah. No, it was a great way to end that. I think there's some people that want to end regular games like that if it goes past 10 innings. And
I don't know how I feel about that, but
I mean, I already hate the Manfred man. I think when it comes to like a game that matters, I just want it to be played as baseball and not have the mental switch to a home run derby every couple days because we have an extra innings game like once a week. I don't,
probably more than that.
well, at least once a week,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't want to be seeing swing offs every 3 days.
No,
I,
no,
I
that
think,
would definitely kill the novelty of it. But for
yeah,
this event, it's perfect. I mean,
yeah.
both sides were like so hyped. The people that were still around, like, were jumping up and down like children, and
Well,
it was
and
extremely exciting for the fans.
the
Like, it
teams
was
come out
great.
onto the field like they're not sitting
Yeah,
in the dugout for that, and it was great. I loved it.
it was great. Yeah,
This was probably one of the best All Star games that we've seen in years. So,
it doesn't technically have a like a. It's technically a tie with the footnote that it was won by the National League on the
well,
swing off.
so they went and retconned it and made it 7-6.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, because they realized that it looked kind of weird. So they're like, okay, we'll just make it say 7-6 so that there's a clear winner.
Hey, there's a precedent for ties in the All Star game.
Yeah.
In
So,
2003, I think, when they ran out of pitchers.
it's happened a couple times, I think.
Probably,
So,
yeah.
but
But yeah, no, I mean, we actually huge credit to MLB and the CBA bargaining and stuff because that was part of the latest round, and they actually added something that I think is pretty universally liked and people enjoyed.
yeah, agreed. Is there anything else you want to mention about the All Star break, or shall we get into the heavy topic of the trade deadline?
Let's get into it. Yeah.
All right. So, as we're recording this, it is July 20th. July 31st is when all trades have to be made. That is the trade deadline. And as you probably remember from the last few years, we no longer have the secondary waiver deadline in August. It is now just one trade deadline. There are some weird things that have happened in the past couple years with just placing
With
guys on waivers anyway.
with the Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, uh, we have 10 days, and then we're going to know what teams look like for the rest of the year. Um, so there are some teams that are very clearly in one camp or another, being buyers or sellers. But there are a pretty good number of teams that are somewhere in the middle, and they don't know what they're going to do. We don't know what they're going to do. And that's what I want us to figure out tonight. What team is going to buy? What team is going to sell out of those middle teams? So I think it's probably worth us talking about teams that are in the pure buy or pure sell realm. Uh, and I think the sellers are easiest because one, that's the talent pool that everyone's looking at is the sellers. So you have the A's, but the A's aren't going to move any young guys most likely. It's going to be guys on expiring contracts if they have any. The White Sox, the Rockies, the Orioles, who similar to the A's are probably not moving any long-term pieces. The Nationals, the Pirates, and the Braves, which feels really weird to say.
Yeah.
But
I
the
guess I'll just make a quick comment on this group because I know we don't want to really focus on that for this episode, but to me, the Orioles are like a key team here, and also the Braves, because those are the teams that we didn't expect to be in this group at all, and they actually have like quality pieces to like trade. So I'll just name some of those guys that I can think of. Like Cedric Mullins is like the best center fielder that could be available at the trade deadline. I'm thinking of Marcelo Zuna for the Braves. If a team is looking for a DH, even though he hasn't had as good a season as last year. And then other Orioles like Ryan O'Hearn, and then some of their relievers, Charlie Morton, Tomoyuki Sugano. So they actually have like a number of expiring contract guys that they probably will move.
Well, and the Orioles have a couple of guys who I don't want to use the word redundant, but they have enough talent in middle infielders that they can realistically move one or two of those very controllable middle infielders to get a major piece back, like a starting pitcher that would be around for the next year or two to hopefully help and prevent them from being in the same spot next year.
I guess the
So
only problem with that is what seller is trading off their starting pitching.
I don't think it would be from a seller. I think you would have to get really unique.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it would
true.
have to be a big, well thought out trade for the future for both clubs. But you might be able to get a middle contending team or a contending team to make that move in the right
Yeah,
circumstance.
I think there's always one or two trades like that every year. Last year, I'm thinking of the Christopher Morel for Isak Paredes. It was like
Mhm.
both teams were not really buy or sell. They were just doing the thing that they thought was best in that moment for their team for then and the future. So yeah, like thread the needle, they always call it, and that's what the
Y-
O's will try to do.
Yeah, and guys like Westberg, like Kobe Mayo, those are kind of your guys that are going to be in that realm. It's not your Gunner, it's not your Jackson Holiday, um, not your Adley Rutschman, but your next tier guys. Those are the guys that you have a chance to sell or trade 5 years of control to get a very good rotation piece for the next few years.
Yeah,
So
I do not see them moving Westberg though. I think he's a stud. I think they want him around.
that's fair. And I don't know who it'll be, but I feel like they have somebody
Yeah.
that could happen with. Or Samuel Basayo, catching prospect, pretty much ready for the majors. Like he could be another one of those guys.
They would have to command a massive haul for that guy because he's what he's doing in AAA right now is highly impressive. He looks like he's ready. It's kind of a wonder they haven't brought him up with all the catching injuries that they've had this year.
Yeah. Um. But yeah. And as far as the Braves were concerned, I think like Raisel Iglesias is available or should be available. Rafael Montero should be available. Pierce Johnson. Nobody's going to trade for Ozzy Albies, but he's got two club options. Otherwise, they could be declined, and he's a free agent. Um, and Aaron Bummer, I would say, sell high.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there's definitely some interesting pieces on those two teams, which I don't think you can necessarily say for the rest of the teams in this realm. The Pirates have a handful of guys that I think they have on the club just to trade. Andrew Heaney, who got kind of blown up by the White Sox today. He's probably the main guy that's going to get moved. I think Mitch Keller has a chance of getting moved. Um, but nobody on the offensive side of the ball is.
You don't want any of those guys, even though
Yeah,
Adam Frazier just got traded to the Royals, but
yeah.
that's another story.
So that's our sellers list. Our buyers list is so much longer, which is a little bit of a problem.
It
Uh,
is. It's
so
economics, right?
uh-huh.
There's not enough supply.
Not enough supply and a whole lot of demand. So PS5s are going to be $1,000.
Yeah.
So the buyers of our PS5s are the Detroit Tigers, the American League leading Toronto Blue Jays. Is that
Uh,
true?
no, I think the Tigers are still up.
Are the Tigers still up? I thought that
Yes,
they
even though
had.
they've lost 6 in a row, they're still technically
Okay, it's
ahead.
one game difference. Oh
Yep.
no, Detroit is currently in a
They're
game.
playing.
What?
They're
Yeah,
playing right
what's
now.
the score right now?
They were up earlier. I don't know what it is right now.
Okay, so a game and a half.
They're
But yeah,
still
so
up.
Tigers, Jays, Astros leading their division, Cubs leading the division, Phillies slash Mets keep going back and forth. Dodgers winning the division. Then you have the Brewers, who have gone on an absolute tear, and I believe are tied with the Cubs.
Correct. Yeah.
So you have the Padres, the Giants, the Yankees, and the Mariners. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 buyers, 7 sellers. Means we have 11 teams stuck somewhere in the middle. Not all of them are going to buy, not all of them are going to sell. I think ultimately you're going to have probably 16, 17 buyers total, and you're going to have about 13, 14 sellers total, is what I think is going to happen. So, where do you want to start? In the midst of all this muddiness, should we start with the most muddy team of the muddiness?
I think we should start with the AL Central because all those three teams that we're going to talk about, they are in very similar situations to each other, where they're very, very far behind the Tigers. None of those three teams is going to catch the Tigers. So they have to kind of weigh uh, whether they think they can make a wild card run. And they're definitely all like in the hunt. They're not buried in that
So
race by any
all
means.
all three of the Guardians, Twins, and Royals are 4.5, 5, 5.5 games out of the wild card. So
Okay.
they're all within a game of each other. And about 5 games back from the wild card, which currently both wild cards are held by the American League East, which kind of makes sense given the talent in the American League East. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that is going to be where at least one of the wild cards comes from. The top wild card team is going to come from there. Anyone else, I think that's going to be kind of a fight, knockdown, drag out fight. But yeah, so Guardians, Twins, Royals. Who is who? Who is whom?
Yeah.
Who is whom?
This
Whom
is
is who?
It's tricky. Yeah, it's just like that. It's confusing. Let's start with the Royals. So the
Okay.
Royals, uh, they were the team to make the first trade. Really, they traded for Adam Frazier. I don't think that's like a key move or anything, but I think the Royals are going to do everything they possibly can to not sell because they're coming off a postseason appearance. They do not want to sell. They've got guys on expiring contracts like Seth Lugo, who's having another good season. And their pitching's been strong all year. It's like they feel like they should be in it. So I think they're going to go for it.
Well, and the other thing is, I think there's a little bit of external pressure on the Royals specifically because there's voting going on for public funding for a stadium, for a location for a stadium, and they're trying to get as much uh as much positive energy into this as possible to help themselves out for the long term, both on the field and just with the field itself. So I think they're going to put in a little bit more effort, try and scratch back into this, and put their best foot forward towards trying to put a contending team together. That's what I foresee for the Royals. Now, what that actually means is they need bats.
Yeah.
Period. What bats are available? What
There's
bat
some.
makes
I
the
mean,
most sense for?
I think well, okay, so I'm not gonna like name a specific name, but I'm just thinking like outfield. That's clearly the biggest area of need for the Royals because they're rolling out John Rave and Kyle Isbell and
Hey,
who knows who.
John Rave proved that he has power.
Huge power.
Huge
Double
power.
homer
2
game.
home
Yeah.
runs. Double dong.
Double dunk.
Double dong.
Yeah. Any guy they would find on the trade market, I think would actually be a significant upgrade for this team. So they actually have a clear path to making the lineup upgrade through this trade market, even though there aren't like superstars out there. Even if you trade for, I don't have a list of guys off the top of my head right now, but
I have an idea.
go for it.
Remember the dude we were talking about before we hit or before we hit go live? About a year
Oh
and
yeah,
a what about a year and a half of Taylor Ward?
yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense.
And I don't think Taylor Ward would be as expensive as some of the other guys you could potentially be looking at here. He wouldn't cost a Jack Caglione. He
No,
wouldn't cost a Noah Cameron. I think honestly, you could get Taylor Ward for a couple of top 30 prospects, and the Angels, while we don't know what they're going to do, and I think we'll talk about it in a minute, I think if you can provide a package of some actually high upside prospects, I think the Angels would be dumb not to take it.
yep.
But I just think Bobby Witt, Michael Garcia, Taylor Ward, then the Pasquatch. You
That's
let
an okay top four, right?
you let Jack stay back down in the lineup, try and just get used to the big league pitching, and then as Jack starts to come into it, you slowly move him up the lineup. But I think you start him at 7, and then have that top 4. I think you're setting yourself up for a continually, uh, continually better second half.
Yeah. But I guess two different questions, but what I think the Royals are going to do versus what I think they should do. I think they should strongly consider trading Seth Lugo because he would be one of the best pitchers available. Just try to reload. I mean, he's like a 35-year-old pitcher who's not going to pick up his player option. So you're going to lose him anyways. Might as well get something.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at it from the standpoint of what should they do, uh, the answer is with Reagan's on the 60 day, with a lot more of your pitchers on the injured list. I think right now you're not at your strongest point. I think you trade some of your pieces that are on expiring contracts and you try next year with a healthy rotation and hopefully uh, some better hitters that you get at the deadline and at or over the offseason. You go in and you try and take the Tigers down next year. That's what I would do.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. But at the same time, I see it from their perspective. We cannot waste any uh, prime years of Bobby Witt's career. Like, you got to go for it.
Yeah, and that's why I think they're gonna go and do the fan service of try and actually do some buying at the deadline, um, and do it that way. But I mean, they've already got Adam Frazier. Not that that's a huge deal, but it's a start. It kind of shows you what direction they're gonna go.
That's very true.
So, all right, so that's the Royals. Now we have two other teams in this division too. We have the Guardians and the Twins.
Yeah.
And I want to start with the Twins, um, because I think the Twins have some pieces right now that are you don't want to give up on the season that they're giving you. And number one is Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan has been flat out awesome. Um, he's a 2.72 ERA through 109 and a third innings. Um, the dude's just been great. He's been their ace, and you kind of don't want to just say, "Yeah, you're doing great. We give up."
Yeah. I'd be shocked if Joe Ryan got moved. Like, he is under control for two more seasons after this year. He's showing that he's basically an ace.
Oh,
They're gonna have to get some ridiculous offer for him to actually get moved.
he's not getting moved. I just think if I were the front office, I wouldn't want to tell him, "Oh yeah, we're gonna kind of start tearing up the team around you," because it's like he's having a great year, and so is Byron Buxton, and Buxton's been healthy.
Yes.
You don't want to give up on the one season that Buxton is healthy the whole time so far, and you have Joe Ryan being an ace, and so like you kind of just want your lineup to figure out how to hit. What you want. Um,
Yeah,
but if that's not the case, how long until Pablo Lopez is back?
that is a good question. I do not know.
So 60-day IL. for a strained shoulder as of the 3rd of June. So in
So
theory,
he's probably
he's
not
like
going to be
2
back
more
for a
weeks.
while. But that's if he comes off in the minimum time, right?
True.
I
So
don't know what the extent of that injury is.
and then Bailey over hip impingement, end of June, 15-day IL, so he's eligible to come back anytime.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I struggle with this team because I have a soft spot for the Twins every year because on paper they look like they should be better than they have actually been playing. So I always fall okay, they'll start playing better, but that never really seems to happen with this club, even though they are getting great season from Buxton and Joe Ryan and Willie Castro's been balling out recently. It just feels like they're gonna do nothing because they're the Twins. That's what they do at the trade deadline. They don't really make big moves one way or the other. They're not gonna sell guys and they're not gonna really like go make an all in move because why would you with this club? They don't warrant that.
so but wouldn't you want to sell high on a guy like Griffin Jacks? Who
Yeah, yeah,
his
and
ERA doesn't necessarily say incredible, but all of his other numbers do. His FIP
yeah,
is a 188. His ERA is a 392. That's a pretty substantial difference. Which, but he's 14.37 Ks per nine. What is that, like? Almost 40%, isn't it?
yeah. He's
38%
been
strikeout rate.
amazing.
Like Griffin Jacks is the high leverage reliever that I think could set the reliever trade market this year. I think he's that good.
There's one other guy though. There's one other guy though. We're
Yeah,
coming to him in the
yeah,
same division.
I know, but
But yeah, no, I think my statement still stands with the exceptions of Griffin Jackson and Yohan Duran. I think they should probably trade those guys just because they have a chance to get one of the best, if not the best, return for relievers.
yeah, and hopefully next year they'll have Brooks Lee start to break out a little bit. They'll hopefully see Buck stay healthy. Royce, I think, has been kind of the disappointing one, hasn't he?
Yes, he has not
So
played well.
hopefully, I think next year is going to rely kind of on him. Um, but they have a really young rotation with Simeon Woods Richardson, David Festa, Zebby Matthews, Chris Pat. Like literally everyone in their rotation is under the age of 30. Bailey Ober is the
Yeah,
oldest guy, and he is 30. So this is a
yeah.
team
I
that's set
think
up.
they're bringing back their whole team basically for next year, and they're set up for like long term success. So trading the relievers is not really going to impact the Twins for the future. I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and it's possible they get a hitting prospect that can turn into something, or a young major league hitter that it's not going to be a game changing guy, but a good piece at the bottom of this lineup for one of the spots that's currently taken by like Harrison Bader or Matt Wallner. Um, who knows? The world is their oyster. They have two of the most enticing pieces on the market.
Yes.
Now, the most enticing piece on the market, I think, would probably have to be a guy by the name of Tate Orton, Emmanuel Clase. But yeah, so the Cleveland Guardians, I I don't even know what to say about this club. Like, disappointed is the wrong word because this is kind of what I always expected them to be. Like, they overperform every year. They overperform what I expect every year. And this is the first time they've kind of just done what I expected. And so I'm confused. I don't get it. Like, aren't they supposed to accidentally be good?
Yeah, no, that happens sometimes. It's like, yeah, they feel underwhelming though. They're just offense doesn't really do a lot. some of their pitchers have been okay, but nobody's really taken that next step forward. I'm thinking of like Gavin Williams. He did have an awesome start the other day. Tanner Bybee's like been flat or even taken a step back from last year.
He's also fought
I
an
don't know
injury or two this year, hasn't he?
who
Bybee?
Bybee. I don't think so.
Has he been the healthy one?
I think so.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not inspired by the Guardians, and I don't think they're inspired by themselves either. And they are not scared to go and move like big names. They've done it a lot of times in the past, where even when they have good teams, if they have a guy coming up on his contract year, they will likely move him at the peak value, and they do well in trades. They're really good at trading because they do not back down. They do not like budge in their trade asks. And in this market, it feels like if they trade Clase, they're gonna get like a king's ransom. It's gonna be ridiculous. Like the Dodgers or the Yankees will go get Clase and they will pay a lot for it.
Yeah. But I think they have a couple other pieces that could be interesting to teams, and the main one is Carlos Santana. 40 years old now, but I mean, he was signed a 1-year deal, and he does still have power. Like he's got 11 home runs in 368 at bats. It's he's not sitting here or out here and like burning the world down or anything. Um, but he's a very reliable veteran that I think if you need a pinch hit in the postseason, I think you feel comfortable giving it to him. And so I think a team would take a flyer on Carlos Santana at roughly 4 million for the rest of the season for a mid to low level prospect is really all that you'd probably have to give up for him. Um, I don't see why he doesn't get moved.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's doing what he pretty much always does. Like great first base defense. He hits okay.
And
Very
then
reliable.
Lane Thomas is not having the same season he has the last couple years, but he's an impending free agent. Hedges, Jacob Junis is an impending free agent. I think both Shane Bieber and Paul Seaworld are both hurt, so they're probably not gonna get moved. But yeah, like there's a couple pieces here that I think the Guardians could move, get a return on. But the only ones that they're gonna get a big return on are Clase, who's still there through next year with 2 club options at 10 million each. Like if he goes somewhere else, he starts converting his saves more regularly. He's still a dominant closer. He's just had a couple rough patches. Um, like I think this could be a very, very big deadline for them.
Yeah.
All right. So that is, I guess, with that being said, buy, sell on those 3 teams. Or buy, sell, hold. I think it's sell for the Guardians, hold for the Twins, buy for the Royals.
Yeah, that's where I am too.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and switch to the other Central. And we have 2 teams here that are trying to figure out who they are, what they are. And so far, coming out of the All-Star break, they are headed in 2 different directions. So the Cincinnati Reds have won this series here against, I don't remember who they just played.
The Mets. The Mets.
They won the series against the Mets. Not a sweep. They won it 2-1. Meanwhile, the Cardinals just got swept by the Diamondbacks. And it wasn't exactly pretty. So I think
Update, Gino's hand was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, back-to-back 2 home run games.
Yeah. So I think let's start with the Reds. The Reds brought up Chase Burns, and Chase Burns has been kind of struggling a little bit. I think Uh, I saw something today that possibly he's tipping his pitch or tipping his fastball and slider, um, which could explain some of it. But the Reds have been pretty hot. I think before the break, they went on a bit of a run. They cooled off right into the break and then won the series coming out of it. So they are now 4 games above 500. They are 2.5 games out from the wild card. So what do they got? What moves do they make? Because they have a lot of guys on expiring contracts. I think Nick Martinez, Taylor Rogers, Emilio Pagan. You could trade all those guys and probably get some decent pieces back.
Yeah.
Um,
I just don't think they're going to. I honestly think they're going to be more in the hold or even the buy, because the thing that's been surprisingly good about the Reds this year is their starting pitching. Um, Andrew Abbott was an all-star. Nick Ladola is actually putting together like a complete season. He's been really good. And then like Chase Burns, and then the wild card here is Hunter Green, because when Hunter Green has pitched this year, he's been all world, like one of the best pitchers in the sport. He just happens to be unhealthy at this time. But if he comes back, then you've got like three really, really good starters and depth. It's the lineup that has been once again a little bit underwhelming. Like with CES has not panned out. He's been optioned to the minors recently.
mhm.
Uh, like Spencer Steer and Gavin Lux, they're okay players, but basically around Ellie, they haven't had as much production as you would like for this Reds team.
I was going to say Noelvi Marte. How's he been in the few
He's been
games he's
really good in
played?
the time he's played. Yeah. They've
It,
actually
was
played him in
this
right
his
field.
suspension year or was that last year?
That was last year. So he got injured actually, and that's the
Okay,
reason he didn't play a lot.
gotcha. But yeah,
Don't you
so
think a like a middle of the order bat for the Reds would look really, really good right now?
yeah, who is that middle of the order bat? That's the
I
question.
don't know.
Because a middle of the order bat looks good for just about anybody.
True,
Um,
true.
but yeah, if you get Ellie on base and then have someone behind him that can drive him in, that'd be awesome. I think maybe a Ryan O'Hearn would be a really good piece on this
Oh
club.
yeah.
I
That's a
think
fantastic call. Yeah.
because Ryan O'Hearn, first base.
Yes, he would fit perfectly because they kind of have a hole at first base.
Yep. So right now they've got Spencer Steer out there, Gavin Lux in left. But to be honest, I'd probably rather have Steer in left.
Yep.
And then so that allows you to put Steer out in left. Uh, Ryan O'Hearn, who's been really, really good.
Yep.
And the Reds have plenty of prospects. In fact, I believe they have one that would be incredibly enticing to a team like the Orioles, and Edwin Arroyo. Like Edwin Arroyo is kind of like their prototype. He's not white, but he's middle infielder. Very, very high ceiling. Who was the other piece in the Luis Castillo trade. So
Yeah.
like that trade hasn't even fully worked itself out yet.
Yeah.
So
I guess I'm kind of comparing this team to like the Royals. And while the Royals, yeah, they need offensive help, they don't feel like they're close. The Reds are like, okay, putting Ryan O'Hearn in the lineup seems like it could make a way bigger difference for this lineup, because they're actually like decent and they've got talent.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there. So I think it would make a lot more sense. Really, I think it makes more sense for either of the National League Central teams to buy than it does the Royals. I think the Royals are the most likely to buy.
Yeah. I think the Red I don't I just can't see the Reds like selling off though in
No,
this situation.
I can't either. Um, but no, this feels like the best chance the Reds have had in years. So it feels like it would make sense for them to go ahead and try and make some moves. Uh, did what's the contract status looking like for their GM and manager?
Well, they have
Oh,
Francona who's
they
come in
just got
on a new
Tito.
deal.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of when David Bell got fired.
Just now. Yeah, just before the season. But yeah, no, that's another good point, because Francona is not like he's not here to rebuild a team. He's here to win.
Yeah.
So they brought him in to win. They're gonna probably try to execute on that plan.
Yeah. So actually, I do think Ryan O'Hearn would be the perfect guy. And you may have to move a relief piece, but oh well.
Yeah.
Um dang. Well, this is going to make this next part even harder for me because I've already decided what the Cardinals are going to do and what they should do, and I don't like it, and now it makes me feel even worse.
Maybe you should hear from me first, and then you can tell me what you think.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so you kind of talked about how the Cardinals came out of the All Star break and they got swept by the Diamondbacks, and that's another part of this whole exercise that is. I guess I'm kind of coming around to the concept of like seeing how you do leading up to the break, because previously I was like that seems like a stupid idea. You need to like look bigger picture, but truly the teams are not, they don't know themselves what they're going to do necessarily until like the week of, or even in the days leading up to the deadline. And the Cardinals truly could be one of those teams because they are like right around 500. Their run differential is like right around zero. They've kind of played to this point in the season. Like they are who they are. They're they're roughly like a 500 team, give or take a few games in either direction. You can make the case for them doing either thing, buying or selling. Um, so I think they're sort of gonna just stay in the middle. They're like in the Twins group where they're
But the
probably not going to make a major move in either way,
but the
but they
Cardinals have
could. They
the Cardinals have an extra wrinkle to this that makes it a lot more difficult to make a big splash. And it's that they have two different guys that are in charge. You have the guy that's in charge through the end of this regular season, and the guy that's in charge for the next like 7 years. And Mozeliak has full control over the major league roster as long as it only affects this season. So he can't trade a guy that's not on an expiring contract. He can't trade for a guy with 6 years left on his deal unless he gets Heim's permission. So now you have two different guys who have to make a determination together on how much are we trying to win this year versus long-term success of the franchise. And right now, long-term success of the franchise is going to win. Period.
yeah. Well, that's why
Um,
this whole situation is so odd, and I don't like it. It seems like a stupid idea.
it does.
You can't make decisions that are based like only on this year. Every decision has a ramification for the future too.
Yeah. And so probably the single biggest trade piece that the Cardinals have right now, Ryan Helsley. He's in almost an identical situation to Emmanuel Clase with just a smidgen less talent. A smidgen, not even like a significant amount.
Well,
But
there's difference, right? Because Class A has the
well, he has an
options.
extra year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an
So I
extra
get
2 years, right?
one of
Because
them
he's got
was
the
a
year
was it
plus
a
the options.
mutual option or
That's,
club option?
I think it's a club option.
Oh yeah, it was two club options. Yes, 10 mil.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So yeah, so I guess like Helsley should be probably one of the most enticing arms because you're not going to have to give up a ton. You'll have to give
Yeah.
up something. He's a really good pitcher, and the Cardinals are still in it. But he's on an expiring contract. Bill Maton signed a 1-year deal. He's been pitching pretty well this year. He's probably likely to get moved if the Cardinals decide to sell. Eric Fetty, I don't know how many takers he's going to have right now because he's really been struggling as of late. But he would be a guy they would try and move. Steven Matz, who I think a lot of teams might try and bring Matz in for the bullpen. He's shown to be really good out of the pen in the last year or two. And then Miles Michaelis is the other guy on an expiring deal. But I don't even want it. So no one else does. Honestly, I think Michaelis is a DFA before the end of the season candidate. Like, that's how bad he's been this year. And the Cardinals have guys that they want to give some leash to in Mike McGreevy. When Matthews is healthy again, he's just knocking on the door. Like, we got a full rotation of old guys. At some point, we got to put the young guys in the rotation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So,
And I guess like I can't even really see them making a big buy move because the team's not that good, right?
no,
It's not.
you would have to go and buy a starting pitcher. Sonny Gray is the only starting pitcher in this rotation right now who you can say consistently is good. Like everyone else, you could say has good stints. They're not necessarily a good pitcher. Sonny Gray is a good pitcher. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Um, but there's so many holes in this club, and then the offense just goes completely cold, and we'll go on like a week and a half streak of only scoring like 3 runs, kind of Royals-esque, and then they'll go on a week and a half run of not scoring under 7. So it's very weird. I would not be shocked to see them listen to offers on a guy like Nolan Gorman, who honestly could probably use a change of scenery. He's a controllable power guy for the next 3 years. I think you could get a fairly decent return, especially now that he's starting to get hot.
Yeah, he's hurt though.
Oh, is he again? Shit.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. But yeah, so the Cardinals are in a really weird spot. And with Heim taking over next year, they're not going to go out and buy massively because they don't have anything they can sell. They can't trade prospects without Heim's permission. And there's not any prospects worth trading.
And this is like a situation where you look historically too, even way better Cardinals teams than this one, they have not ever really gone out and made a big splash. Why'd they do it for the 25 team?
But they haven't really sold either. But this time, time I think they should.
They should, but they may not because they would prefer to just stick in it, and that goes to the whole Mozeliak situation where he's still going to want to win in his last year. He should honestly not really care about the future. He should be holding or buying.
Yeah. So likely he's going to hold. I think the relievers might get moved in Maton and Helsley, but I think everyone else is pretty much here to stay.
Yep.
So so then National League Central, Reds buy, Cardinals hold / vaguely sell. Is that where we're at? Okay, so far we have 2 teams in the sell, 2 teams in the hold, or 2 teams in the buy, and 1 in the hold.
Yep.
If you count the Cardinals as a sell for their relievers. So that brings us to, was it 9 and 15? Or 9 and 13?
I don't remember the count, sorry.
I don't either. But let's go to the American League. We have 2 in the American League East. What in the world are they going to do? And that is Tampa and Boston.
Yep.
And right now, the American League East, Boston has a wild card spot currently. They are tied with the Mariners. The Yankees have a 2-game lead on them. Tampa is a 1.5 games back. Every team is very much in this. So I guess first of all, without talking about anything about what they should do, which of these 2 teams do you like better?
Oh man, that's a really hard question. I like them both, honestly. I feel like they're both solid teams.
Same, but I think I kind of like the Rays better.
Is it because of starting pitching?
Starting pitching, and then I think there's guys in their lineup that I feel a little bit more confident about.
Okay.
Like, I feel a little bit more confident about Junior Caminero. I feel a little more confident about Jonathan Aranda. Like, the question on what they're going to do with Bregman is too big of a question. There's been too many talks about, should we just trade Jaron Duran? Like, so I don't.
There's no way they're going to trade Bregman, though, right? He just means too much to the team. From everything that they've said, like, Bregman's the guy. That's a huge reason why they traded Devers, right? Because they thought Bregman was their guy.
Yeah, but they still haven't locked him down long term, right?
No, they haven't, but I think it's got to be their priority number 1 for the offseason. They're not going to trade him now.
Well, Yes, but so that answers one of the questions is if they're not going to trade Bregman for those reasons, then it seems less likely that they would trade Jaron Duran. It feels more like they would go into a buy mode. It's if they're
But Jaron Duran's interesting though, right? Because he's like represents the surplus of the Red Sox because they've got so many young, talented outfielders. Rafaela, now Roman Anthony, who's kind of showing that he's probably going to be a study at some point
and
sooner or later.
and Willier, who just straight up
Willier.
I,
So it's like if they trade Jaron Duran, he's the best player that's going to get moved, not named Devers, and they could get like a massive return for that, right?
yeah, because he's still got 3 years or no,
Yeah,
two more years.
I think 2 more
I think
years.
2 more years. Yeah. I don't know why I did it that way instead of just looking at payroll.
I kind of
Uh,
have forgotten about Duran, but it makes a lot of sense that they actually would trade him, but then they would still stay in it for this
so
year.
Duran is ARB eligible until he becomes a free agent for 2029.
Oh, so he's got like many
So
more years.
he's on a deal, but it only bought out some ARB years. It bought out ARB 1 and 2, and he is an ARB 4 guy.
Okay.
So yeah, he's got a club option for next year at 8 million, or they could decline it and just go to arbitration on it. But yeah, no, like they've got a decent number of expiring contracts here. Um, Bueller's on a 1 year. Giolito's in the second year of his 2 year. Chapman is a free agent at the end of the year. Liam Hendricks is a free agent at the end of the year, unless they pick up the mutual option, which I think would be kind of dumb. They got.
I guess I'm interested why you think that they would be selling though, because they just won
Well,
10 games in a row. Like it does.
I
I think
think
that answered the question.
I think because of that they're going to buy,
Yeah.
but like at the same point, if you're going to buy, you're going to have to trade somebody.
Yeah.
So where should they be? What part of the roster should they be trying to improve?
Starting pitching.
Starting pitching,
Yeah.
because they have. I was
They've
looking
got
at the injured
Giolito and
list.
Bayo. They've been okay. They've been solid, but I would love to see another better starter to supplement Crochet.
That's fair, and they're not
And first
likely to
base.
get.
First base is the other spot where I would really like to see an upgrade for the
Oh
Red
yeah,
Sox.
because they're still rocking Abraham Toro and
Romy.
is it? Oh, Romy. I was thinking Ref Snyder, but yeah, Romy makes more sense.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I
And
mean,
catcher. Have you seen how bad Connor Wong has been this year? Don't even look.
I have not.
He has one RBI.
How's Narvaez been?
He's been solid, but
Okay, hold on. Idea. Travis Darno.
yeah, sure, yeah, that helps.
We're getting the Angels some pieces back.
Yeah.
Boom. You just get Connor Wong out of here. Bring in Darno as a backup catcher / first baseman. It's got a little power. I think
Okay.
it might work. He's a righty
work.
too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll hit it over the monster. It's fine. I think this works. I don't know that he's played very much this year, so maybe it's a terrible decision, but that's why I'm not a GM. All right, so pitching first base. What about for the Rays?
Yeah. The Rays have had an interesting season because they started slow, then they got ridiculously hot in June, and then now they're sort of struggling again. So it's like they've been really streaky. They have had pretty good like breakouts by Caminero. Brandon Lau, before he got hurt recently, was having an awesome season. Their starting pitching has been great because they've actually had like consistent guys to make a lot of starts, and they're not having to rely on their bullpen as much. The bullpen's also good as it usually is. I think they just seem like a solid team. I don't see a reason why they would want to really trade off.
So, do you think this is a club that really the bottom of their order is where they need a little bit of juice, right? It'd
Sure.
be
Yeah.
kind of your Chandler Simpson has a really good hit tool and speed,
Yeah.
but he's got zero power whatsoever. Jake Magnum, Aston Kim, kind of.
They just got him back. It's pretty exciting, actually. That's like a big addition.
Um, so what would a power guy that could play in a couple different positions, is that what they're looking for? Basically, a utility guy that can be in the lineup every day.
Yeah, I don't know what they're looking for, honestly. Like, they seem sort of complete. They almost seem like they're going to do nothing. But they're the Rays. They seem to make trades a lot, and they will surprise us.
Well, so what the Rays will likely do, what let's see what relievers they got on expiring deals, because they'll probably deal from that to get something else.
That could be.
Um, so Pete Fairbanks has a club option for 7 million for next year. Does that seem like something Tampa would pick up, or is that too much? Too much money?
They'd pick it up. I mean, he's good.
Well, and they have a new owner now too,
Yeah.
as of September 1. So that kind of doesn't really help for this year, but how much are
There
they?
surely there can't be anyone cheaper than Stu Sternberg, right?
Well, exactly. So the question is,
Famous last words.
um, so the question is, does everyone in Stu's regime just kind of hold out on guys like a Fairbanks, who really you probably should just pick up that option and then keep him on the team? Or because of the way that Sternberg is always operated, are they going to trade him so that they get some kind of return when they inevitably think that they're not allowed to sign or to pick up his option,
Yeah, I
even though
mean,
they have a
I
different
guess
boss next year?
yeah, it just depends on what what the new MO is, but the Ray like I separate the Rays front office, which is extremely shrewd, smart. They know exactly what they can do with their budget and they kind of like continually execute on that. It's like separate from the ownership, which obviously sets the budget, but it's not like Sternberg is like calling shots. He's not Artie Moreno or something.
Yeah. Which at that same point, Zach Littell's kind of a similar guy. Like
He's a sell high, yeah.
he's been a huge piece of this rotation. Like he's been an innings eater for them. So in theory, you just keep him around, you let him get to free agency, and you try and re-sign him or let him go.
Is he a free agent?
He'll be a free agent. So
Oh, okay.
it kind of that feels like maybe the guy that they will move. Him or Fairbanks are the two that I'm looking at as those are the two most likely to be moved. Because you're not going to move Danny Jansen because you don't have another catcher. Um, Brandon Lau has a
He's the
club
guy they
option
would
for
move.
26.
He's the guy they would move because he has the highest salary on the
Yeah.
team.
Well, second highest salary.
Who has the highest?
Hassan Kim
Oh, okay. Interesting.
and
I wouldn't have
Yandy.
guessed that.
They're kind of so Lau and Yandy are basically tied.
Okay.
So, um,
But don't you agree that this team just they're solid and they don't really have like a glaring hole. They're not bad as is.
yeah, I would have to agree with that. So it's just one of those that how are they going to perform, and if they can go on a streak, they'll end up making it to the postseason. But yeah, I think they're basically a hold. The Red Sox are a buy. If Tampa can buy and like massively upgrade, they will. They're not afraid to go out and make a big deal. So, because what I'm trying to remember what they gave up for Randy Rosarena. That was the Matthew Liberatore and someone else. But like they traded their number one pitching prospect at the time for a guy that turned out to be incredible for them in Randy Rosarena. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them do a similar thing.
Yep. they always seem to surprise with trades. They'll make one out of nowhere.
Yeah. All right, so we have two more teams and 10 more minutes to exactly tie our last four episodes at an hour 14 and 3 minutes or 3 seconds. They've
How
all been
many
the
teams do
exact
we have?
same
We have
lengths.
the Rangers, the Diamondbacks. Who else?
Rangers, Diamondbacks, and Angels if we want to.
Okay.
Okay, so I think let's go and finish up the National League and talk about the Diamondbacks. So the
Okay.
Diamondbacks, in my opinion, would have been buyers as recently as like 3 weeks ago. I would have been in like they're probably a sure buyer. They had a little bit of a meh streak coming into the deadline. They started out hot coming out of the deadline, sweeping the Cardinals, brought them back up to 500. They're 4.5 back of a wild card spot. Their biggest hole right now, I think, is starting pitching, right? Because of the injury to Corbin Burns, getting Tommy John. That is a massive hit to that rotation. Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen have not been the same that they've been the last couple years. So, in my opinion, that is the spot they need to upgrade.
Well, it's interesting, right? Because I think the Diamondbacks are the most interesting team we're talking about here in the buy-sell decision. Because if they were to choose to like strictly sell, they would actually have more to sell than pretty much any of the other teams because they have a lot of expiring contract guys like Kelly, like Gallen. So while you say they've got a need in starting pitching, and I agree, they actually have players to sell in that group as well.
And I think Gino Suarez is like the most likely to be traded. Like he's been rumored to be traded to like 5 different teams already. The Yankee fans seem to think that he's already on their club.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. Randall Grichuk has a mutual option for next year for $5 million. Kendall Graveman has a mutual option for next year. Jalen Beeks, Shelby Miller, free agents.
Josh Naylor is a big one. He fits all the teams that are looking for a first baseman, like the Reds or the Red Sox.
Naylor and Tito.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I still think O'Hearn's the better move, but I think it'd be fun getting Naylor in there.
Naylor's having an awesome season. I could see him doing really well in that ballpark.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. I guess I think they're still going to stay in it. I think they want to continue to try to win because despite the terrible misfortune they've actually faced this year with all kinds of injuries and not a lot has gone right for this team, they're still at 500 and they still have a fantastic offense as we saw over the weekend. Like they can put up runs.
Yeah. With
even if their pitching sucks, like they're going to be competitive.
Like their top 5, Carroll, Marte, Perdomo, Naylor, Suarez, I would put up there with the top 5 of any club.
Yep. No argument for me.
If they are going to make a run for it, their relief staff could probably use a little bit of help.
Yes, as always.
But they're in the same situation as pretty much every contending team ever. You could use another starter. You could use some more relievers.
Yeah. This one definitely feels also like they're going to make the decision as late as they possibly can because they don't want to get caught in the middle. They want to be like a sell team because of how much they have, or they want to just buy and try to make a run for it.
Yeah. Hopefully have another 2023.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of 2023.
Yeah.
The Rangers. Honestly, I think if
you're struggling.
I think, honestly, I'm a sell based on the fact that they can't seem to beat good teams at a 500 clip. Like they've been on a little bit of a hot streak. They also won the last 3 games here, so they're trying to get the sweep in Detroit. They're just above 500, but they're going to have to pass the Mariners and Boston just to get into that last wild card spot.
They don't have to pass them both. They got to pass one, and they got to pass the
How many
Rays.
wild cards do we have now? Is it 3?
We've got 3. Yeah.
Sitting here thinking it was 2.
No.
Oh God.
See, if we did have 2 wild cards, it's a good point. Then things would become a lot more clear. There would be a lot more sellers as well.
Yeah. So, but I'm not in love with the Rangers. I don't think they score enough to really be able to make a big splash.
Yeah, but their pitching has been so fantastic, though. That's the other thing. It's like you want to go with these. They have older pitchers too, like Evaldi's 35, Degrom's 37, Patrick Corbin's having a good season. He's 36. They've got Bruce Bochy as a manager, and it kind of feels like this is like the end of the prime of Seager and Simeon. Like those guys are maybe their best is behind them already, so you can't really waste these seasons. So I know they don't want to sell. And what would they even sell anyways? They
That's a
have
good
nothing to
question.
trade.
Um, John Gray, Tyler Malley, Chris Martin, Hobie Milner, Luke Jackson, Sean Armstrong, Patrick Corbin.
So
Or
basically bad relievers, and they
Patrick
could
Corbin.
trade like Adolis Garcia if they wanted to.
Yeah, who's got one more arb year, and also Jock. Jock has a player option for next year and then a
Yeah, he's
club
not getting
option for
moved.
the year after that.
He's absolutely not getting moved because nobody wants that player option. He's also injured.
That's fair. Ugh.
They don't have a good they're not in a good spot because they can't really get a lot out of selling. I feel like they just have to hold and hope they get a little bit better.
Well, and they don't really have prospect capital anymore because they've graduated it all.
Yeah.
So, other than Sebastian Walcott, uh, and Sebastian Walcott is like an incredible prospect. Like they would be dumb to trade him if they're not like pretty damn sure that they're going to win a World Series this year. So he's not getting moved. And after him, like Alejandro Rosario is their number 2 prospect. Once you consider Rocker and Leiter are graduated out, he's the only above average prospect that they have. He's at AA. He's 24 years old. I don't think they've got enough there to trade. Like they can make small moves, but I think it would be better for them to just trade like Patrick Corbin, try and get something out of him, and then see if anybody wants any of these relievers that I'm sure 1 or 2 of them will get picked up, traded for, and go on some kind of a run with the club. I don't know. All right. Do we want to talk about the Angels? We're already at risk of going over our hour 14 and 3 seconds.
We'll just do the Angels quick here because they seem like they're gonna go the same route that they've gone, like basically every year, where they don't do either sell or buy
a
their
little bit right now and then just cut everybody and put them on waivers and let them be claimed or just picked up by a club later.
And this year they have fewer opportunities to do that because they don't actually have as many like free agents to be.
Yeah, nobody's really going to pick up Kyle Hendricks, Yohan Moncada. Kenley Jansen will probably get moved if they decide to move him. Tyler Anderson. Then I think maybe Luis Rengifo might be the. And I don't even think that's a good one, but like he's 28. He's shown a little bit of talent in the past, but he's not an earthshaker. So just kind of a depth piece at the back of your bench, most likely for middle infield.
Mhm.
So. Oh, but they should trade. They should trade my guy. They should trade Taylor Ward. Where is Taylor Ward on here? Why am I not seeing him?
What are you looking on?
Literally just roster resource, looking at the payroll.
Oh,
Oh, there he
He's
is.
an Arb, right?
Yeah, he has one more year of ARB. He's kind of an older guy, but he's a very reliable older guy. I think it would be incredibly smart for them to move him with one more year of control to see if they could get a mid-level prospect back. So, and I think a lot of teams would probably love Taylor Ward, especially those that need an outfielder. That's why I think Kansas City would be a really good fit for him. He's got some power, which is something that Kansas City desperately needs. Yeah, I think he's the number one trade candidate here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So cool. So I think they're probably a hold, even though they should be a sell. Is that where we're at?
I think that's true.
And Rangers are kind of also in the same
A
boat
hold.
where they're hold because they don't have anything to sell.
Yeah, that's where I am with them.
And then the Diamondbacks we think are going to buy.
I think so.
Okay. Well, since we're already over our hour 14, let's just quick recap of what we thought of all the teams. So buyers, we had the Royals, we had the Reds, we had the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks. Correct?
Yes.
Hold, we had the Twins, the Rangers, the Cardinals. But the Cardinals are kind of on the bubble of maybe sell a few pieces, but mostly hold.
Yep.
And then the straight up sellers were the Guardians, the Angels should be, but they're going to be a whole. Is that the only one that we decided is like a sure seller?
Yeah, and that's the hard thing about this because we still got 10 days, right? So there's really not an increased supply of sellers based on this exercise, but maybe a couple of these teams win like 2 of their next 7 games, and then they say we have to trade off now.
Well, and so that kind of, now that we've got to this point in the discussion, it kind of makes me think the Cardinals will be a sell because the market is so desperately in need of things that the pieces that we have that people will be interested in will get a premium return.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to have clubs like that, like the Cardinals, like the Rays, that are maybe going to leverage the increased market value for pieces on expiring contracts to be able to maybe even beef up for this year, but at least for next year. So I could see, knowing that, I could see the Rays moving the Littell and Fairbanks, knowing this. So
yeah, and the Rays are unique because they have shown a willingness to trade players that have multiple years and trade for players that have multiple years. So they get more creative than like your classic buy sell trade.
Yeah. Taj Bradley for Nolan Gorman. Who says no?
Probably the Rays.
Dang. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you very, very much. That is our trade deadline preview. I guess we're going to see what happens, and we'll keep you guys updated on that here in the coming weeks. So thank you very much. We will see you guys back here next week. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcasting app or YouTube to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Getaway Day Pod. If you enjoy card collecting, check out our sister YouTube channel at Getaway Day Cards.